And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode dose of The Decent Show. I'm Ryan Money, joined by Reagan Horton.
That is my name.
Yeah, I know. I had to make sure I didn't mispronounce the, the verbiage of you being here with me.
It's a pretty foreign name. A lot of culture to it.
It has nothing to do with your name. I was talking about you being here with me. I'm with Reagan Horton. Doesn't matter. You're the co-host, co-creator.
Dude, Gamble's not here. The whole show falls apart.
Doing all the legwork. We are without Kyle Gamble this evening because he is not cool enough to see great movies like Skyscraper. That's what this episode's about. We're doing a movie review of Skyscraper starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. You want to just dive right into it?
Yeah, just go ahead. We're going to spoil the whole movie.
All right, we're going to spoil the whole movie. Oh, all right. Reagan's out of here. So, on the rating scale, I think I would still put it... I don't even know. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable calling it Garbaggio. That's like our lowest rating on the rating scale. Yeah, Reagan's going to get the scale for me since I can't seem to remember it. But I don't feel comfortable giving it Garbaggio. I like The Rock too much. But, I mean, the man... I don't know, man. He's getting in that trap again where he's doing bad movies. But they're not kids' movies anymore, luckily. But they're not good. Real corny, real bleh, just real, oh, I like monkeys, and then this movie was, oh, I like my family, and that's my main motivation. I'm The Rock.
You realize you give it Garbaggio, you're giving it the same ranking as Rampage. You realize that?
I know,
and
that's why
the Maze Runner, the third one.
I'm explaining why I won't give it Garbaggio, but it's darn close. So I'm gonna go with the rating that's not on there, and that's high key. Garbo.
High key Garbo.
But not Garbaggio. I'm not ready to flush it down the toilet, but I'm definitely putting it in the toilet.
Oh, it's that bad, huh?
I don't know. Like, literally, we predicted everything in the movie.
Yeah.
Like literally, the bad guys were see-through. Like, that's a bad guy. Like, because I was fishy about the insurance guy from the time they introduced him, but I was like, they can't have too many double crossers, but they did.
I thought he was that guy with the cement trucks from The Dark Knight Rises for a second. You know what I mean? He's also the main bad guy in Ready Player One.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was him, but it wasn't him. But I was still like, yeah, that dude.
He's in stuff. I've seen him. He plays a bad guy in a kid's movie or something. I've seen him.
Okay. Now, you made a good point though. Like, you're like, he's a complete idiot. Or he's the bad guy. There's no, like, his character's terrible either way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's one of those things to where if he's not a bad guy, he's, like, a super useless character because he's the insurance guy. Like, they introduce him as the insurance guy. He's there for a reason. And, like, they never use him or do anything with him.
And he always has a billion questions. He's like, why? Well, we should get to the chopper.
We should leave. Can we leave now? They left. And that's what he wanted.
All right, so... I'm going to say, like, some things were decent about the movie.
Oh, you got the notes?
Oh, yeah, I got some notes here.
Okay. When did you take those notes?
While you were in the can.
The movie theater?
Yeah, the movie theater bathroom.
That was a good pee.
Yeah,
that was a long one.
You're telling me I had time to write all those words down.
Yeah, it has a lot of words.
And, but, like, they did a couple cool things, like, with the iPad where, like, it was with him, you know. Like, they kind of dodged the thing of, like, you know, it's so convenient that he put the dang iPad in his bag and wasn't on his person, you know. I like that they did that. I like they did a couple things like that where it was like, all right, you kind of, you know, you didn't take the easiest route, like, with the dumbest plot, you know.
Great point.
I mean,
that's true.
I'm just saying. And then, like, I feel like it was a solid start. Like, the opening was pretty cool. I think it's, like, a pretty, just a normal day. And then it zooms out and, like, the cops are there. And then, you know, we all know he's losing his leg. But, like, he still loses it in kind of a cool way. And then they had some setup that was all right. I don't really understand the turning it off and turning it back on thing. We couldn't have come up with any other, like, connection between him and the wife in the building and, like, her knowing what to do. Like, I'm pretty sure no matter what, if they hadn't had that thing between them, she would have known at the very end to be like, I got to figure this out. Like, I got to turn this off and on again or something, you know?
This is one of, like, you just reminded me of a great point. Like, it falls...
That's what I'm here for.
There's a whole slew of movies. Like, I've seen so many movies that do this, and, like, this is where my notes would come in handy if I took some. Like, would be that, like, I'm so mad I can't name more examples, but I'm going to go with, like, Tomb Raider and other action films, like if it's an action film or a comedy action or even sometimes a comedy,
It's
but
too
like,
convenient.
well, no, what they'll do is like they'll set up stuff in the beginning where you're like, dude, that is so like random and lame. Like that, like rebooting a phone. Like really, like this lady doesn't know how to restart her own phone, but she can do tours in Afghanistan saving lives
And performing like surgery that she probably went to school for 8 years.
Exactly. So they like make this paper thin like joke slash comment about her not being able to reboot her phone just so they can reference it again at the
It's
end
like
of the
that
movie.
assholes stick together. You know, that classic way to bond each other.
Exactly. Rampage did it. Tomb Raider did it. Like they have something stupid in the beginning, just so at the end of the movie they can be like, "Remember, trust yourself. Remember what I told you at the beginning of the movie? It's like riding a bicycle, and now it's a big bicycle." You know what I mean? Like it's just. I don't know how else to explain it.
I need that in a movie. I need that bicycle flying
Yeah.
in a movie.
But it's one of those things like it's like what I'm saying is like it's just like riding a bicycle. It's easy, and then at the end of the movie, it's a big bicycle and it's a big moment. So they have to be like, remember at the beginning of the movie when you kind of did this fraction of a thing? Now it's a much larger scale because it's the end of the movie. It's the climax. Mm-hmm. Like literally rebooting the phone was the little bicycle, and then rebooting the whole building to save the Rock. I feel like people are gonna take. They're like, what are they talking about? Like this is out of context, but. Basically, like, the building's on fire and it's controlled by an iPad, and the wife reboots the fire system, and next thing you know, the sprinklers work.
So you didn't buy that the sprinkler system could basically save a building that is 75% on fire at this point.
This building's been on fire the whole
for
damn
like hours,
the whole damn movie, and out of nowhere, it's like, oh, everything's burnt to crap, but the sprinklers that were attached to the ceiling, there is no ceiling anymore. We can see through the whole building, but the sprinklers still work, of course. I don't know, but yeah, there's so many movies like they do that. Like they set up something stupid in the beginning just so they can use it at the end in a bigger scale.
Yeah, and it always feels forced too. Like it's always like it always like puts a hankering. Like it's like the movie's like, all right, we're like, can we get past it? So it's like sort of a speed bump. Mm-hmm. So what did you think? All right, I'm gonna tell you where the movie, like, I don't want to say it lost me because I'm not as down on it as you are, believe it or not. But
I don't think anyone's ever as down on a movie.
No, you're not. Yeah, because you're never satisfied. Ever.
They don't make good movies. Like
ever.
Like I don't know, dude. Like I know they get paid millions of dollars, and if I were in their shoes, I know I probably wouldn't be able to argue or talk or do anything. But like if we were making this movie, and I'd be like, really? Like, I'm going to say that? I'm going to do that? I feel like in the middle of shooting that movie, I'd be like, this is a load of crap. Like, we got to get back to the drawing board or something. I don't know.
All right, so what I was talking about, the moment I'm talking about is when they have that bridge in the middle,
Yeah, that was hilarious.
And it burnt. All right, there's a lot of things here, so just buckle in, all right?
Okay.
So the bridge breaks, all right? That's fine. The woman had the upper hand on the guy like 2 or 3 times. All right, I'll let it go. No, movies aren't perfect, whatever. Life isn't perfect, blah, blah, blah. But I was still like, all right, whatever. And then they kill the guy, in a fiery death, so they get rid of him. But then they got to get the kid on the other side. So then he holds the bridge together. All right, that's a weird thing to do there. And then he's like, all right, we're going to take this plank and put it across. And I was like, so the kid can walk across. The 40, 50-pound kid can walk across this thing. Not you and the kid putting all your weight on this flimsy piece of wood. Like, the kid can't walk across that thing. You're telling me, like, even when I was that age, if you just told me to run straight, I could probably do it for 5-6 steps, which is all you need.
You were a good kid, though.
Yeah, maybe that's the problem with every movie, is that I was too good of a kid. Anyway, it's just like, why did they choose to do that? That makes no sense. You go across, and then y'all both come back across. So we triple the amount of danger that we can have in this scene. But then before that, I'm forgetting something. The kids are down like at the bottom, and they get separated by this log, right? It's a flaming log. That sucks.
I've had one of those.
They're not even nice. Bathroom reference. They're not even like, it's probably up to their knees or like hips or so. And I'm not saying that wouldn't like hurt them, but they could have definitely just crossed it. It's not that big of a log. It's probably like,
it's a megalodon.
Yeah, it's a megalodon. Yeah. I was trying to tell you in the movie is when we were watching the trailer. This is off topic, but when we were talking about the trailer for the Meg or whatever, I wanted like Jason Statham. I want in that movie. I want Jason Statham to look at like 50 different things and him always say it's a megalodon, and someone be like, shut up, what are you talking about? And then he sees the shark and he's like, it's a megalodon, and then they're just like, nah, you're still wrong, like it's just a boy you cry in megalodon. Anyway,
I want them to be like, yes, Jason, you got it right, and then they get eaten.
Anyway, so that's where it kind of lost me, where I was like, all right, everything up to this has been pretty solid in my opinion. I was like, all right, I'm on board with this isn't that bad. The action scene in the apartment was actually pretty decent, because he was like fighting with like one leg, and then did like a pretty cool thing with a knife and the stovetop. A lot of cuts in the fighting. I mean, the fighting was decent, especially with the women fighting. Ton of cuts, like hot, but a lot of cuts. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. That scene was like where they're fighting in the car later, right? A lot of moaning. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay. So where did the movie lose you? Right off the top, basically? When we got through the Universal logo or whatever it was? As soon as the logos came on, I was like, really? They're going to make this movie? No. DC Comics. Comics. No, everything was fine. I was impressed by the setup in the beginning, except for like the fact that we knew that his friend that was getting him the job as the security guy at the tower was a bad guy. Like literally that dude's a bad guy in every movie I've ever seen him in, I think. So as soon as we saw him, I was like, really? This guy's a bad guy? His bud? Sure enough, he was. And I don't like the family. It's one of those things, like they try to make it a huge deal, but like you really don't feel it, and you don't want to. Like I didn't care about the kids. You know what I mean? Have you ever cared about the kids in a movie? Yes. If it's done right. It's one of those things, if they're going to take the time to put them in the movie and give them stupid lines, like either make me care about them or don't have them. Don't have like, I hate saying paper thin all the time, but they don't have a weak bond with the family. Like they just tell you, hey, this family's really tight. Okay, like no other families are tight. This family, this family's got this is a family. And you know, they have the cheesy family stuff. Oh, who loves dad? Who loves dad? Yeah. I hate all of that. And because I don't believe it, I don't buy it. Yeah, but actually, I mean, the kids kind of look like him. That's fine. But what really lost me, I was okay with everything. I was putting up with everything. But what really lost me was elevator, the climbing. Oh, okay. Him climbing that construction tower, 150 floors or whatever he climbed. It's one of those things. He was above the fire. The fire's on the 96th through like 98th floor at the time that he's climbing. So you tell me he climbed 100 floors. You know what I mean? Like that is like. I don't know enough about climbing, but like that's he's got no rope, he's got no support, and the higher he gets, the windier it gets. And he's got a helicopter flying around him the whole time. Like they're not helping him out, they're just getting the coverage. It lost me there. I was like, there's no way this man climbed that high. And then to keep climbing, he had to do the jungle gym stuff, and then he had to climb after that. Like I know exhausting. I know it's The Rock, but like yeah, the amount of upper body strength to do all that to me is insane. And like, especially on a half leg. Yeah, he's 1.5 legs. Like I don't know. I didn't. How did you feel about the 1.5 legs in general? To me, it's one of those things. I mean, I don't get why he had to be. Yeah, it didn't really serve a purpose. Really, the trailer was different than the movie. In what way? The trailer. There's a trailer. Like we can go watch it after this. Because obviously we're not gonna watch it in the middle of this. But like, there was a trailer where he's like doing his little presentation, and they like insult him. And say that he's like a gimp or whatever, like a... Yeah, don't they say in the trailer, they're like, yeah, nice try, but like, we don't want your opinion. Doesn't he say something like, yeah, you've got this massive thing in the sky and you basically trapped everyone up here? Yeah. He like says like he like talks about how there's a flaw with it or something in the trailer, and they're like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And he goes, oh, I'm just a simple idiot who likes his whiskey or whatever. He has a stupid line like that in the trailer. Us assholes gonna stick together. Exactly. And... line of the year, and like it was nowhere to be found in the movie. Like none of that was in the movie. He was just in awe of the tower the whole time and never said that there was a problem with it. I mean, obviously there was problems once they got started, but like in the trailer it's pretty obvious like he has a problem with it during the presentation. And in the actual movie, during the presentation, it was like 2 seconds. He was like, yep, turns out your building is secure. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. But, so like just like I mean, dude, I don't know. I mean, I didn't have high expectations, but, like, it wasn't that great.
or bad. I don't know. I'd
Do you
give
want
it.
to talk about the elevators? Because I know the elevators were bothering you.
The elevators were bothering me because I was like, you know,
You just don't understand how they can work.
No, I don't understand why. If he sent her down the elevator like when it was almost too late, why not send her down the elevator to begin with?
Aren't you not supposed to get in an elevator in a fire?
Yeah, well, I didn't see a staircase in the whole building, so
True.
That's one of those
That's what I'm
things.
saying. Like, where is the staircase? Because you only need a staircase to go down 2 floors at the very beginning.
that's what I'm saying.
Or
She
one
could
floor.
if she could have found any way to go down a few floors, she would have been safe instantly.
Because there can't. I don't know.
Because that
We're
fire,
getting to the,
that fire they started was in like one room.
We're getting like down to the physics of like a building or whatever.
Mhm.
But you can't have people not have access to a staircase and an elevator, even if it's like they only burn like half of it or they burn the whole floor. There's got to be a staircase somewhere. So how come they didn't immediately just go to the staircase? You know.
Gotta have a movie,
I mean, yeah, that's true.
but yeah, exactly.
There's only so much you can let go in a movie, though.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I didn't get the whole time. He's like, go up.
But I let that go.
Yeah, I did not. He's like, go up, go up. Like, why? Like, you just go a couple floors down and you're done. Like, you go to the 95th floor and you're safe. And I didn't understand the penthouse either. I felt like the penthouse like was like in the middle of the fire,
Mhm.
but yet it was still like fine the whole time. Like every time we saw shots of the penthouse, it was fine. I don't know.
Nobody's hurt.
Nobody's hurt.
Was there?
Oh, that was my other problem
Oh,
with the
dude,
movie.
lay it on me.
Stormtrooper shooting. I mean, literally.
That no one could get hit with a
Stormtrooper
bullet.
shoot. Yeah, and stormtrooper shooting the whole movie. Like no bad guy could hit anybody. It's all point blank range. They got automatic weapons, red dot sights, like point blank range. Like, I'm not saying I want the good guys to die, but like,
There's
make
only
it-
so much missing of bullets
Yeah.
you can take in a movie without somebody getting hit.
And they always like run around a corner, like they're like at the corner, and it looks like there's no way in hell they're gonna make it without getting shot.
Yeah.
And the person starts shooting, and somehow they make it around the corner. And almost every time they like have their arm up, like they have their arm blocking their face. Like, what is that gonna do? You're still gonna get shot. Like, you're gonna deflect the bullet with
Like
your.
the one that was really ridiculous to me was at the end of the movie. He's out there with a guy, and you know they're trying to trade the girl for the hard drive or whatever, and they like the dome comes down on him, right? And it's like there's like 5 guys with automatic weapons all looking at you and about to shoot you,
Mhm.
and somehow you like the whatever guy from The Dark Knight like shot one of those guys. Okay, so he killed like one of them. But there's still like so much. There was like 10 seconds while that thing was coming down and like closing over it,
Yep.
where they like none of them could have gotten shot.
No,
it was a little much.
They had
you
to
know?
run. They can't run and shoot and miss at the same time. Yeah, wasn't a fan of that. And then the other thing I was gonna nitpick was the very beginning of the movie. It just starts off 10 years ago. Like 10 years ago from what? Like 10 years ago from present day. 10 years ago from 2008. 10 years ago from 1990. Like
You need a year.
I mean, don't just say 10 years ago. Like 10 years ago from what? I don't know what year it is in this movie.
So you'd rather like boom and then 10 years later,
Sure.
because that would have made more sense, I guess.
Yeah, or it could have said like Michigan, 2008. Like
Michigan.
wherever they're at. I don't know where they're at.
What was I gonna say? I felt like when
You
he
ready
was.
to go over all your notes?
No, I'm not there yet. Don't worry about it. I was gonna say like I think his climbing is like him climbing and like whatever outside the building was pretty intense. I thought that action was pretty good.
Yeah, no, there was
Like,
some.
I know you hate the climbing and like how like it is impossible. Like it's not even close to possible. But like him like making that jump and then turning off that turbine and like
Yeah, all of that stuff was edge of your seat.
Good stuff.
Good, but
But then then
Sometimes
it was
you
duct
get-
tape hour. You want to talk about duct tape?
no, you go ahead and you talk about how this
You
movie.
had more passion about it. You were the one that was like, "Whoa!" in the theater.
Yeah. Well, this movie apparently had a not part-time, but partial sponsorship by duct tape because they blatantly referenced it 3 times in the movie and used it for cheap jokes. I don't know, like, I just go back to corny. Same, like, I didn't like it. As soon as he started messing with duct tape, I was like, oh yeah, duct tape will fix anything. And sure enough, he's like, you don't have enough duct tape. you're not fixing it right or whatever. Like if you want to,
You
fix
need more
it,
duct tape.
Yeah, you need more duct tape.
If duct tape can't fix it, you need more duct tape.
And then you use duct tape gloves and duct tape shoes to like climb that building, like scale it to like stay, I guess, attached to it better.
I think it's just a factor of you seeing more movies than me, but like, I don't know how it works honestly, but like to me, it didn't hit me like in the corniness department. But it's mainly because I've seen more of it in movies this year. Like I feel like this movie had less corniness than most movies I've seen this year. Like I feel like Pacific Rim, Rampage.
Oh man, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Good, thank you for reminding me. I don't want to ever let that go again. That
Yeah.
movie has some serious cheese to it.
Yeah, thank you.
But I feel like this movie had way less because mainly there was
was light on the
less
cheese.
jokes. There was like 0 jokes.
Yeah,
which
it
is fine.
It was light on the cheese, and that's fine. But there's still some.
Yeah, there was some.
Yeah.
You feel like you could have cut 20 minutes out of this movie and it would have been better?
Man, you could have got.
Are you serious?
Nah.
It was pretty fast once and it didn't take long to get moving. It was pretty like.
Yeah, no, yeah. It was, the length was fine. Everything was fine. There's just little parts in the middle, like some of the.
What'd you feel about the hard drive, like the main plot, basically?
I was dissatisfied with all of that. Like, I'm glad when they finally explained it, I was like, okay, that's fine, I guess, makes sense. And then they like don't really mention or do it again because it's one of those things to where if those crime syndicates know who has their info, like you think they would be relentlessly after this guy.
Yeah.
Like that's their whole livelihood. That's their whole life, and he's not even worried about it. He's got the flash drive in his hand, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna rebuild." So you don't want to maybe take care of the crime stuff first before you rebuild, because wouldn't they just come after him?
What was weird to me was like he was clearly shot for the one time someone was shot in this movie,
Yeah.
and he was like leaning over in the mirror room, and like he was seemingly dead.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever, and like everyone's going like the Rock is in the middle of this thing, and there's fire all around him, and you're like, all right, they just killed that guy, and like they didn't say anything about it, but then like they just he's in the helicopter with them, and he's fine. He's not even like he's not even holding anything like he was shot in the arm or anything like that.
There you go. He's just sitting there like, yeah, we're gonna rebuild. I have a bullet in my arm. Doesn't hurt though. Doesn't hurt. Nothing hurts. Look at this gash. Look at this gash. Yeah. Doesn't hurt though.
What do you think about like the mirror room that they had the fight in?
I didn't get it.
You didn't get it?
I mean, aside from using it as action and plot point, I didn't understand why it's there.
It's a tourist thing, I think.
What its function is. Yeah, it's to get tourists lost in a small room. Like I don't understand.
That's all people want.
Yeah, I would love to get separated from my loved ones in Japan. Like
I was about to say, I was like, I'm sure you pay a lot of money to get separated
yeah,
from your
yeah.
dad on a vacation.
On a vacation, yeah.
What's your opinion on a woman in the morning
On
on
a
a vacation?
Avoid it at all costs.
Oh man, so many good points being made.
Yeah, there goes our female fan base that we didn't have.
Yeah, that one person now cut in half.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about the movie?
Well, what are your notes?
I've already gone through them all. Parachutes. What did you think about the parachutes?
Stupid. Like, I don't know.
What was so stupid about
it? You know, like, it's just dumb. They got all this money, all this tech, all this stuff, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna use parachutes. Like we're gonna jump out of here. I don't know. Like, to me, it's not a good enough getaway because, I mean, The Rock's wife figured it out, and she's just a nurse.
Mm.
Like, it's one of those things to where the building is so huge and the crime scene is so huge that a parachute's not going to get you far enough.
Yeah.
Like, and it's easy to spot. They had helicopters all over the place. So, like, if they would have parachuted out of there, like, that helicopter was, like, on the Rock. Every move that he was making. So they wouldn't follow 6 guys in parachutes.
What I liked is like they have that map and it's like, all right, this is where they could land, and they're like, well, not there, and then like he's like, probably here, and she's like, what about that spot? And he's like, oh no, it's perfect. They would never land there. It's like,
yeah.
Wait, should I trust you? And it's like, I don't know. I just suggested the best idea y'all have had all movie. Oh,
exactly.
That's what I was gonna say. All right, I'm glad we got back to that. But like at the very end of the movie, they're having that fight in the car or whatever. And I don't know if it was just me, but it felt like it was way too dark, and I couldn't really tell what was, or if it was just too choppy, and I couldn't tell what was going on.
Yeah, dark, choppy cuts.
Why do people cut movies like that so much? Do they just not
know.
like
I guess
know
they
how
can't,
to, or what?
I guess they can't. They either suck at it or they like can't. They can't choreograph the fight. I guess it's that hard for them to like. Because it's one of those things to where we can like everything's so high def and we can see everything now that I guess they can't like.
You can't pull your punches or like whatever.
Yeah, they can't choreograph the action to where it's super realistic like some of these movies do, especially like your CGIs like that make it just brutally graphic.
Yeah.
So they just cut instead. I have no idea, but I know CinemaSins rips on ScarJo. Like every time ScarJo has an action scene in a Marvel movie, he's like, "Look, there will be 1,000 cuts for Scarlett Johansson to knock out all these people." Like,
yeah,
but everybody else just like knocks them out.
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen in her own movie because that would be terrible to watch. That's exactly what the Jason Bourne movie was like.
Oh, awful.
I know that didn't come out this year, but we should have at least talked about how much we hated that movie.
If you want to like not see action in an action movie and just see dark cuts, I would definitely recommend Jason Bourne, Batman Begins, parts of this movie, most action film safety with low budgets. Dude, I can't stop farting.
Those aren't even low budget movies.
Yeah, probably not low budget, but you know what I mean. A lot of cuts.
That's what drives me insane. Is like you have this big budget and you have like a person who knows how to direct a movie, and like I don't understand like why.
Well,
I don't
that's
know.
what I don't
it just
get
makes
either.
no sense to me. Maybe like there's a really good reason, and I'm just like an idiot to it.
Well, but some movies do it. Like
that's why I don't know.
CinemaSins awarded Last Jedi for like not editing or cutting the action scene. Like it was a full sequence of action. It's like, okay, well, if Adam Driver or whatever his real name, like if he can do that, why can't every
person
actor do that if they're all? Because he's not like he's a stud. I mean, he actually did get in pretty decent shape for the movie, I guess. But like, I don't know. It's one of those things to where like if you can do it sometimes, why not do it all the time?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, is there a part in this movie where they had a really solid like? I guess they never had.
They had cuts through every action scene, but like when the girls were fighting, it was like double the cuts of when the Rock was fighting. And it was in a car
that was dark. Yeah. I was like,
small space.
You could be doing like you guys could literally just be like,
they
could be like rolling around, like literally doing barrel rolls on top of each other, and I wouldn't be able to tell if they're fighting or not. I'd be like, wow, this is intense.
At one point,
I'm telling you, you could.
At one point, it looked like they were literally just laying on top of each other, like moaning. Like they were just like pushing each other and moaning.
Yeah, I thought one of them got stabbed.
Yeah,
I was like, who stabbed who? And I'm like, who's fine? And then like all of a sudden, she
just couldn't get her seatbelt buckled.
I don't know. All right, so what do you want to rank this movie as?
I'm gonna give it low key to high key Garbaggio. It's not
Dude, we're changing the rules. There is no high key, or there's no high key Garbo. There's only low key Garbo.
Okay, fine, low key Garbo, but it's like pretty obvious, so it's not even low key. It's just there, but it's not Garbaggio. It's it's The Rock. It's The Rock.
Well, The Rock already had a Garbaggio movie this year.
Yeah, he did Rampage, and this was better than Rampage, so that's I guess what we're comparing it to.
We're comparing it to the Rampage. I guess I'll give it.
That's the other thing. If he's in it, if the work is suffering because he's doing too many movies, I'd like him to slow down a little. Like, take his time with a movie. Like, actually try to make it good.
See, I don't think he's, like, the problem, though. Because I feel like everything about this movie that wasn't good... I mean, we nitpick a lot. We nitpick, like, for 20 minutes, basically. Yeah. But, like, there's problems with the plot. There's problems with the action. That's pretty much it, actually. There's just problems with the plot and the action. I feel like that's not on him. Like...
No.
Like, I feel like he's acting fine, and he plays a decent enough character, and, like, there's... enough for him to do. Like, I don't know. Dude, the movie took a lot out of you.
Yeah, I'll say it wore me out, all this complaining. I guess, but it's just one of those things to where he's done a string of bad movies now, and I knew it was going to be bad, but I was really disappointed with Central Intelligence, Rampage, this movie.
Jumanji?
Didn't see it, but it looks pretty stupid. Like, I mean, yeah, he's got some better ones out there, and there was a couple of moments. Oh, he didn't have to use a gun the whole movie. I don't think he shot anybody the whole movie.
He held that gun at that guy. Oh, yeah, that was a cool thing when you knew it was coming, but they still did a good job of it. Of like, they're in the mirror room, and he's like, one more thing, I'm behind you. Like, you know it's coming, but I thought it was pretty well done. I still didn't see it coming, even though I knew it was going to happen.
See, I didn't know it was coming, but whenever he did it, I was like, oh, how convenient. Like,
oh, come on, man. Oh, come on.
I was like, how is he going to get out of this one? I was like, what's going to happen? And he's like, I'm behind you. I was like, you slippery bastard, you. Is this a game of hide and go seek or something?
I think I'm going to give it decent, believe it or not. I'm going to give it a decent. A straight up decent.
Get all this complaining and you're going to up your rating?
There's like nitpick things about it that are bad, but like I still felt like some of the climbing and stuff was good. And I feel like the setup was good and the rock was good.
No. Yeah,
you're wrong.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, I know it's fine. No, like I said, it was aight, but again, I was gonna say it's kind of like the Rundown. For some reason, in the Rundown, his character refused to like have guns, use guns, and he like literally pretty much went the whole movie except for the end where he was like, "Yeah, I need guns," and then this movie, yeah, he went the whole movie basically without using a gun, and I'd be interested to know if The Rock has an actual gun problem in real life, or if
there's no way.
Or if it's just like, G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe, dude? What are we talking? G.I. Joe's Rampage? He shoots a gun like 50 times in Rampage.
Fast and Furious.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
You feeling okay?
Oh, thanks, Reagan. I just don't get why he has to have. I don't know.
I think they were going for like a creative thing. Like he doesn't have a firearm, but he's gonna take out all these guys that have firearms.
But he's a fireman.
Exactly. Well, he did have that rope and that rope axe. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought like, where did that rope come from that he used to climb the building? Climbing the building with duct tape. The duct tape shout outs. He had 3 duct tape shout outs within like an hour, 30.
That really took its toll on you.
It's just. Like, I want to know if duct tape paid for that, because they're not the only like duct tape. That is a brand.
Yeah.
Like, there are other people who make tape like that, but it's not called duct tape. It's called whatever their brand is. Mm-hmm. So it's like, did they pay for that? Like, is that, you know what I mean?
We'll have to find out in the sequel.
Yeah, Skyscraper 2, the rebuild.
All right, I think that'll do it. Check out our channel for our first episode, I guess. We're going to review Ant-Man.
ASAP.
Follow us on Twitter, @TheDecentShow. Anything else?
YouTube, @TheDecentShow.
Nice.
Listen live. Tell your parents. Tell your friends. Get grandma to listen. Grandmas love movies. That's what we're here for. We're here for the movie lovers. We're going to break it down. I feel like a lot of the stuff... I don't even know if... do you think anybody would get what we just talked about without seeing the movie? Like, could someone not see the movie and understand anything that we just said in this episode? I sure hope so.
I don't know. I feel like we were sort of thorough enough. We talked about almost every scene.
Yeah. So you
sort of out of order. So
if you haven't seen the movie but you've listened to this episode, we've saved you time. You're welcome, because we are under the runtime of 140. We did this a lot quicker.
My dream is we see a movie so bad that we're over its runtime because we have that much to say about it.
We'll get there.
Is that a messed up dream
we'll find
to have?
it. No, it's not. We'll find it. We'll find that movie. If you guys have any suggestions, why don't you tweet them to us, comment on YouTube, tell us a bad movie that we can have a complaint about it longer than the actual movie. That's your homework this week. Thank you for listening to The Decent Show. For Reagan Horton, I'm Ryan Money, and good night.